All right, so I absolutely love this from Jeremy Sochan, but this also comes with a price. This also comes with a huge responsibility because what this is insinuating is that the San Antonio Spurs, we're gonna have to get our act together. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that we have to do it right now or we have to be a winning team in the next season or two, but his type of mentality and the way in which he approaches the game, I really do believe that this is a lot of responsibility.
I want some rest. Are we having fun yet?
All right. Okay. All right. So this isn't the first time Jeremy Sochan has said this, okay? He said this on many of occasions, and I'm going to go back and show you the first time in which I remember him saying it. But he basically said, once again, so they brought up the rising stars. Hey, man, you're a rising star. And he said, I don't give a F about that. Winning championships and being on a winning team is all the F I care about. I don't know. He didn't say it like that, but basically, okay? But he just said that that's his goal. That's his goal for the future is winning championships, being on a winning team. And he has mentioned this quite a few times. If you guys recall, I actually did a video. I'm not being conceited here. I literally just can't find this image anywhere, so I had to go back to my video. But I talked about this 7 months ago, in which I believe this was the first time that he publicly shown a need or a huge want for winning a championship. Now, obviously, people just kind of like turned their eyes or rolled their eyes to it, turned their head because they're like, he's a rookie, you know. Yeah, it's good that he's a little hungry. Oh, isn't that cute? No, he literally wants to. You can even see the way that he approaches the game. He wants a championship. He wants to play winning basketball. But yeah, so you can see here he retweeted or reposted. This was on Instagram. This was the championship. You can see 99 championship, and he said one day. Right underneath it. So you could tell that he really wants it. But that was the occasion once again in which he said, hey, winning, I want to win championships. I want to be on a winning team. Now, when I said that there's a lot of responsibility, and it doesn't necessarily mean that, oh my God, this is scary, like this is a bad thing. Okay, it just means that the Spurs are really going to have to get their act together. And I don't mean like, oh, in the next season, next 2 seasons or whatever, we just going to have to make sure we construct a winning team. And I think they are doing that. Like, don't get me wrong, I think they really are doing that. It's just a matter of it's really tough. It's really tough to keep stars. And how I feel right now, I'm starting to believe that Jeremy Sochan is a legitimate star for the future. So the Spurs are going to have to get this thing rolling, you know, once the time. I think in a few years he's going to be even like much better than he is right now. And I think at that point we might start questioning, oh, is he a upcoming star, you know? So I just how I feel. I know I'm stumbling over my words, but just how I feel, you have to get it together. I kind of thought back at Tim Duncan, and I know you guys recall this. And don't get me wrong, Sochan is not Tim, all right? You'll never see another Tim Duncan, all right? But one thing about Tim Duncan is he was the greatest rookie we ever had, and I think that Jeremy Sochan is the best rookie we've had since Duncan, okay? So with that being said, you guys recall Duncan almost left to Orlando Magic. The San Antonio Spurs didn't necessarily have a super great winning roster. I believe this was, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I get my timelines mixed up a little bit, but I believe this was 2003 when he was getting ready to go to the Magic. And this is even a quote from Doc Rivers in which Doc Rivers is saying, oh yeah, we almost had Tim Duncan back then, but he wanted to go back and meet with Pop. And I talked to John Calipari and he said, oh yeah, you don't have him anymore. He's gone. If he's going to talk to Pop, it's over. Which we know that was true. Now, with that being said, the thing is, Tim Duncan, even though we won that championship in 2003, that was not a winning roster yet. Like, some people forget this. Hold on, let me bring this up because I actually tweeted this. Let's see. And people do not, let's see, playoff stats. People do not listen to me when I talk about this. So I don't know if you guys recall this team, the 2003 team, but this was an absolute carry job. Like, people oftentimes go back and they look at the 2003, actually, let's see, 2003 Spurs team roster. They look at it and they say, oh no, that roster was phenomenal. No. It was not a great roster at all. So if we see here, like if you look on this, let's go ahead and get started, okay? Now, first thing you're going to see, you're going to be like, what are you talking about, Clan? Mono Ginobili? Are you serious? Tony Parker? Are you kidding me right now? Those are Hall of Famers. No, at that time, Manu Ginobili was inconsistent. It was his first year with the Spurs. Tony Parker, it was his second year. He was inconsistent, and they had to play Speedy Claxton quite often. And on top of it, the rest of the role players just weren't really there. You can say David Robinson. Dude, David Robinson was like nearly 40 years old, and he was not the same. He averaged like 8 points and 8 rebounds. It wasn't even close, guys. You can look here. And this is the playoff stats, and you can see Tim Duncan averaged nearly 25, and then the closest player to him is literally Tony Parker at 14. He averaged 10 more points than Tony Parker. I also believe that he had a win share of 17, and so if you take Tim Duncan off of that team, you lose 17 more games and you're out of the playoffs. He was absolutely carrying 25 points per game, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and he averaged about 5 blocks in the finals. He carried this team, okay? So don't get me wrong. Popovich, great coach, okay? And I think this team played fairly well together, but this was nowhere near a great team or a team that Tim Duncan at that time would have believed that in the future he would win multiple championships. There just is no way. So all I'm saying is, even when we get Wemby, hopefully we get Wemby, right? If Jeremy Sochan becomes a star, still you're gonna have to make sure you get a really good team around him. Now the Spurs were building for something great, obviously, right? That's easy hindsight to tell us that, but at the time, I'm sure plenty of people just didn't see it. They didn't see the potential big three. I mean, some people will argue that Steven Jackson was the second, third best player on that roster, and Steven Jackson, if he's the guy that you're banking on to be there for the long haul and not do anything dumb, that's just bad. That's not good. So this team was just not constructed that well yet, but they did have a clear vision. It was just a matter of talking Tim Duncan into that. But all I'm saying, that's all I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is, you can't just bank on having a star and bank on having a couple stars and think they're just going to stay there. That just doesn't happen. And then every now and then you get something like Kawhi, which literally out of the Spurs' hands at that point. I mean, that he was going to leave no matter what. I don't think the Spurs could have convinced him in any shape, form, or fashion to keep him around. I don't think that was going to happen. I know he wanted us to get Paul George. I don't even know if that was possible at the time. There's no way. There's no way you could have kept him. So sometimes there's nothing you can do, but you don't want it to be out of your power, okay? Well, sometimes things are out of your power. That's not what I mean. So you just don't want to necessarily have an opportunity to keep a player and not do everything you possibly can to keep them. But I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling. But man, by the way, this run to the finals was absolutely ridiculous, man. You'll see here. Look at this, Tim Duncan. Good God, man. Look at this. Tim Duncan against the Lakers. Good God. He destroyed the Lakers. He absolutely destroyed the Lakers. He's so bad. He's such a bad man. Look at his closeout. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gushing now. Look how he closed out the Lakers, dog. Oh my God, what game is this? Game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In game 5, Tim Duncan had 27 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 assists. He led the team in 3 categories. And then to close them out, the man scored 37 points and 16 rebounds, bro. Come on, man. And this is coming from a guy that's not. I mean, we didn't have 3-point shooting. Nowadays, like, you get 40-point games all over the place. We didn't have 3-point shooting. Shaq had 31. He beat Kobe and Shaq. That's ridiculous. Tim Duncan was a monster in this series. He was a monster through the entire play, but he did it all by himself. You look down here, Tim Duncan. Look at this. He led every single statistical category in the 3rd round. Are you seeing this? 40 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, 32 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 34 points, 24 rebounds, 6 assists. People do not remember this, man. Tim Duncan absolutely carried that team. That team was not good. That was not a great team. That was all Tim Duncan. Even the scores that they did get, it was because Tim Duncan was double. Anyways, okay, let me get out of here. Just wanted to bring this to your attention. I know we kind of went a little tangential there. Look, Jeremy Sochan, he wants to win championships. There's responsibilities that come with that, and I think that we have a franchise that's going to be able to match what he wants, because we're not the freaking, I don't know, let's throw out a team. Let's see, we're not the I'm not gonna disagree. Oh yeah, we're not the Knicks. All right, we're not the Knicks. We're not the New York Knicks. The San Antonio Spurs want championships. They don't want to be just good enough to entertain. They want championships. So Jeremy Sochan should more than likely respect that, and I think they both have the same goal in mind. But anyways, I'll give it to you guys later. You want to support the channel, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. I'll give it to you later. Till next time, bye.